What up, family? It's the Bitesize Breakdown crew, and we are back for another episode of A Bigger Bite, where we take a deeper dive, longer than 100 words, into the movies and television series, and soon, or we're in the middle of it, the Best Picture nominations. And we are here to talk about maybe one of the best January releases in a long time. Maybe not. We'll see what it is. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. Nick. Don't die. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to get back on A Bigger Bite, and I'm looking forward to, as we spoke about, getting a lot more of these out this year.
Yes. Really looking forward to that. Paige, because you always do. Have fun. How you feeling?
Well, not dying, so that's good at least. No, I'm happy to be back. New year. We're going to be jamming these out and also being conscious on our screen time with the movie that we're talking about today. So
yeah, you might want to do that. And Adriano, I don't know where you're going, but based on what you said, I'm gonna say good luck, sir. How you feeling?
Feeling like I might need it. You might be surprised where my head's at with this movie, but it does sound like I'm gonna need it. But either way, I'm glad to have fun while being back.
All right, well, just kick it off, Adriano. Just overall thoughts. What did you think of this Sam Rockwell revolutionary AI time travel, wacky as shit return for Gore Verbinski?
I liked it. I did like it. Did I love it? Not really. It's a very fun mess. It throws everything into a melting pot. And like every kind of societal disturbance for Gore Verbinski, and kind of just it feels too finger waggy to actually enjoy it. But it is enjoyable. It's maybe a touch too long for what it is, but it's definitely an entertaining movie. I definitely see why it's got some fans. I'm not blind to what's being appreciated by it. I don't have any cynical views on it, kind of, but yeah, it's okay. It's solid.
That's interesting because you had said the finger waggy and the very, very beginning when Sam comes in. If you don't realize, we're going to spoil the deeper we get into this, so please make sure you watch the movie first, or just don't care and keep watching us. Doesn't matter. Once we kick it off with Sam going into the diner and he starts with his rant, I was like, if this was anybody else, and if this was not Gore Verbinski, and if this score wasn't kicking ass like it is right now, this could be a very, very, very preachy, talking down to you kind of monologue to kick us off. But I thought the combination of those three together, I am so glad that Gore Verbinski is back. I'm glad that he is. He brought back one of the Pirates of the Caribbean composers. It's not the one he worked with, but he knew what he was doing. A dude that can carry on that iconic score. That score for me just kicked off. This is going to be a fun ass time. The way he was moving the camera, and Sam Rockwell is Sam Rockwell. I don't know if you're watching this, you may know who Matt Nost is because you're in this community. I saw Matt Nost from front to back, and Matt Nost is a funny ass dude. Go watch Settle the Score if you don't know what that is, or if you know Schmodown, check him out. I can't not see the man, but Sam Rockwell is one of the most interesting, charismatic, just grab a hold of you and come along for the ride. And from that beginning, I was hooked. I was 100% hooked.
I was going to say, there's literally no better way than spending a wild evening than with Mr. Sam Rockwell. That man is such a delight. And with this movie, to be frank, it's not the first of its kind. But it definitely brings a lot of original ideas. And it's just a bizarre journey that you just you're on it for the ride, pretty much. I have a couple little criticism. Definitely, I think the too long bit definitely goes out there. I do think some of the characters are wasted a little bit. But man, you know who the real MVP of this movie is Haley Lou Richardson, because she is Mother. And if you've seen the movie, you'll get that. But yeah, I kind of went back and forth on this for a lot with my grading of this film. But the more I sat there with it, I was like, we need more zany, weird, bizarre original movies. And I'm so happy that Gore is back with something like this.
Yeah, I think this movie fucking rocks, to be fair. I just had a great time with it. I think Rue shares my opinion in that sense. I think that your liking of this film is going to be very aligned with your personal views on AI in general. I don't think this is a film that sets out to change anyone's mind. But if you're someone who is a little bit more adverse to it, whether in the film community or just in life in general, you'll probably be able to connect with it a lot better than if you're someone who is, creating those memes on Facebook of two people who died and what they would look like together in heaven and all that kind of crap. If you're that kind of person, then this movie might not land with you. And this very much is probably a film that is of its time. I don't know if it's something that's necessarily going to age in the way, depending on how things go.
I agree with that. Definitely.
It's a right time. It's a right place, right time kind of movie. And I felt very similar to this the way I did when I first saw Freaky Tales last year. Of this just kind of knocked me on my ass a little, and I had a really good time with it. And come the end of the year, I'm going to remember what a good time I had with it.
Yeah, I think it's going to age well because it came out at the right time. Like AI is going to be, and technology and is going to be the thing from here on out. So it will age whether we are slaves to an AI overlord or we figure out how to actually combine this shit and do it properly. It did come out at the right time, and it's going to be something to look back on to say, yeah, I'm glad we actually took the lesson, or why the fuck did we not listen? So I think it's here for the others. The other thing for me though, and I'm going to agree, but I'm going to connect it to a movie that is nothing like it. It's a very similar experience as The Secret Agent for me. I felt how long the movie was, but I was so damn interested that I didn't care. But like when I left The Secret Agent and when I was watching this, I was like, man, this is going on for a while. But I'm in. Take all the time you need to flesh this out, to give us more zany shit. On top of the fact that anytime that I can yell out FTK when I need to, like the movies for teachers are just coming, and it frustrated the fuck out of me watching Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz having to deal with the damn kids. I'm so glad I don't deal with high schoolers. I get middle schoolers, so I can still throw one across the room if I really, really need to. But like,
you should watch The Plague.
I've heard that might like tip me over just a little bit more, and I might actually want to like quit my job. I don't know. But I've inched closer to seeing that. But I like that. That was one of the reasons also that it got me so hooked, was that teacher angle right out the gate. I will say, I guess I kind of agree a little bit in terms of the waste of the cast. Are you all talking about Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz?
Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of. And they do have a nice, like, their section of the film, which I do like about this film is that besides one of the characters, they pretty much give everyone, like, at least people that are, like, important, they give, like, a little snippet, like, of their character and, like, kind of what, like, led them to that point, more or less. And, like, their part does, like, make sense because it kind of brings things back around to, like, the villains at the end, kind of like who's after them. But yeah, I just thought overall, like, there's such like comedic gold. I love Zazie Beetz. Like, ever since I saw her in Atlanta, I've just always have been obsessed with her. And I just kind of felt like she was just like wasted a little bit in this movie.
She felt like a talking head more than like an actual character.
Yes. Like, I thought she was like playing like a gimmick of like something, and I was just like, this is not right. But it's funny that you keep bringing up the teacher aspect, obviously, because they are teachers. This movie reminded me a lot of The Faculty in some sense.
Yeah, it did. That is why I don't consider Zazie Beetz a talking head. This is a very exaggerated movie in aspects, and I promise you there are teachers like Michael Pena. And I promise you, there are teachers like Zazie Beetz. They played fully fledged characters in what we got from them of what it's like to be a teacher nowadays. I just yelled at children for not saying crap to me while I'm teaching. Like just today. So that, like, it was full reality. Some people are just like, yo, just shut up and just deal with it. Some are trying to change the world. They were definitely like people. And I understood it because I have that insight. But I can see the way it's set up, like them leaving for a bit and coming back. Maybe you could have intertwined them a little bit more. But with Haley Lou Richardson and Sam Rockwell being that key, I kind of was okay with it because we needed to really establish that time with them. Nick, what did you think about like the characters and how they were used?
Yeah, I think they all played their role as the film called for. Like, I didn't find them wasted and I didn't find them talking heads because I think the role of the teachers in this film is very defined in the beginning and then at the end what they're needed for. And I think in the same way that Juno Temple's role is well defined for the introduction of the clone son and the idea of her talking and her having this piece to kind of fix it all and have it all come together. I think it's like a really good puzzle in that every piece fits in perfectly. So I don't agree that any of the characters were wasted. At least the ones that got their focus, their side story at the beginning. Because I think they all played exactly the role they needed to.
I do get what you're saying with that. Maybe like, I mean, I still kind of feel like they are a bit wasted just because of their talents and what they could bring to the table. But maybe like impactful is like the better word. That like Juno Temple's character, is her character's name Susan, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, they're throwing in the movie, they're throwing in like some crazy, like interesting, like
Topics.
Technology themes of like cloning and also mixing in like school shooting related things and then like cloning and obviously the AI aspect of it all. And I kind of I thought it was so cool that they did all that, but I was like, also, you're throwing so much at us that like, give me more about how this became to this point, kind of more or less. But I get like, yes, this is what the movie is about. This is what AI and doom scrolling is leading to. Like, we're all going to become like doom strolling, like never paying attention to the world. And that's like where I take away most with this film is that it's about like living in reality and enjoying that because that's the real world, not these fantasies that we see online and on social media and such of that. And so that's what like my big takeaway that I enjoy a lot about it. But some of like the interesting things that they throw in there, like the cloning and school, like it's the crazy things that they're doing. I was like, huh, really interesting. But I'm like, you didn't give too much to us about it. And I was actually kind of intrigued with some of the things that they were throwing in there that I feel like they didn't fully cover or explain a little bit, but it probably wasn't the point. But
yeah, see, I actually really like that they went that route. Like, I love the way this film starts. It drops you right into the action and you're just kind of dealing with the problem that everyone else is dealing with, and you're just as unaware as the people in that diner are. And I think that this movie isn't about what got us there, how we got there, how this all happened. It is, no, we're here. We're in it right now. Like, we're dealing with this and it's just going to get worse. And like, I know you mentioned the school shooting thing. I don't think we're going to have like a full discussion on that. I think the discussion between the parents talking about, is this your first for a school shooting, is
that's what
so powerful in like, it hits you like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I kind of wanted, like, I was like, whoa, like that was a lot heavier than what I was expecting. Like, that's why it mixes a lot of things in it. Like, yes, it's a wicked zany sci-fi, like in a sense also post-apocalyptic like story, but like,
and that is why I'm good with how long this movie is, because I was not expecting to get sad in this movie. I was not expecting to be sober, like the sobering reality of what's going on, technology has a lot to do with school shootings. It has a lot to do with kids scrolling and looking and stuff. So naturally bringing that in and giving Susan's section enough time to like expand onto, is this your first one? Oh no, and then the clone got killed, and then our second clone got in the school shooting, and then our fourth. The sobering reality of what we live in, bringing it all together. That is a main reason why I enjoyed how long this was, because it felt natural and it felt like you needed that time, especially with the structure of giving us little capsules of 3 of the characters on top of the main storyline. Yeah. Yes, it made it feel longer, but it made it more than just a zany action film.
But like, here's the thing. This is where my issue kind of comes, because like kind of like what Nick said, when that opening scene happened, I was like, oh, I'm going to be into this. That's what I thought, because I was like, this is I'm enjoying this. But then it becomes clear that it's about more. Like it wants you to actually digest these things, and that's cool. And that's where my issue came in. It threw a lot at us in terms, like, that's what I said.
I agree with that.
Like Gore Verbinski threw a lot of his frustrations into a melting pot, and it kind of almost came off like a South Park episode, where it's like, all right, let's approach these things from a very crazy, absurd angle. But like the school shooting thing, like you said, like the whole idea of like, school shooting, we gotta go hide in the thing. It's like, that's a South Park episode. They actually did that. Except at least when they did it there, it was like, it had a little bit more of an angle of like, why are we not as pissed off about this? Why aren't we pissed off every time this happens? And this movie, it just kind of was like, oh, it's all part of the grand scheme. It's like, I guess it's there, but because so much is happening, I feel like I was like, it didn't get enough air that it's supposed to. And I like goes for a lot of the ideas in this movie. Like AI is the main one, which as it should. AI is an issue. But I just, because the movie's so wild and there's so many moving pieces, I feel like there's not much there beyond like nihilism.
Here's the thing. Think about what's going on right now. How many people are not pissed off? How many times have you that? Exactly. That is the point. We are dropping into this. All connects. This all is what's it all has. It's not like, for me, it's not like throwing 2-3 different topics that have nothing to do with each other and throwing it all at the wall to say what I'm frustrated about. No, all the things that are connecting to technology and are complete like disconnection from people and what are happening to people. Nobody cares. Nobody. And except the individual. When you go down to the individuals care. And the individual who starts like pointing out, I know you care about this. I know you care about this. Somebody come with me and care about it. I think the point in opening with a seemingly crazy man trying to snap everybody out of their own little bubbles is perfect for a setup with something this heavy.
Yeah. And I think that's what works with it too, though, is that it is like, and like, I agree with some of your points, Adriano, but like, I did walk away like actually loving this film. It's my favorite movie of the year right now. Like I gave it 4 out of 5. Because like it does throw a lot at you and it doesn't give you room to breathe, but it does it in such a like zany, stupendously like fun way that it makes it all work, because it's taking such like prominent themes that are actually occurring today and like putting it a twist in it with all of it. And like that's what I enjoyed most about it, that it's tackling these issues and such like that in such a unique way that it pulls it off like brilliantly because of that.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that's not entertaining. It is a lot of fun for the most part. It's definitely like propulsive in that way. I do get that, but it's very obvious to me that Gore Verbinski like wants us to look a little deeper into it. Like he wouldn't do the free like ticket for people who lost a job to AI thing if there wasn't something else there. And yeah, as a thrill ride, as sci-fi, even that one, I'm like, it's messy, but it's enjoyable. But I don't know, it's hard not to kind of be like, what's the intention here when he's throwing all these things at you, and the end result, the ending kind of like has something, but the main point seems to be sucks, right?
See, I think like you said, Paige, you're like they don't give anything a chance to breathe, and I think that's really important that they do that, because the vibe of this film is we're here now, not we're going here. Like, this is already school shootings and everything like that. They've become commonplace. Like, it's not we're going to deal with this problem. It's like global warming. It's already gotten bad, guys.
Yeah.
It's not something we can go back and fix. It is something that this has now become the way of things. And we're not going to describe it because it's the way things are, in the way that we would not describe something that we're just used to in modern day, because it's just how things are. And it is putting you into this world that this is how things are. And it's apocalyptic, but in the way that like a film like Children of Men is apocalyptic. Obviously, they're very different thematically films, but it's thrusting you right into this is how things are. And it's even little things like the idea of taking advantage of Susan's grief by introducing her to, oh, you can have your son back in an AI, or you can have him with ads. Like, it's a mindset of like what's coming next, and it's all done through the vein of wacky comedy, but it doesn't lose its heaviness. Like the school shooting thing, there's comedy within it, but it still has some of the weight of a film like Mass, where you're like, man, like I am kind of put in this situation, and like people deal with. Look, like I'll say it bluntly, we're lucky that we don't have as many per capita here in Canada as the states deal with. So we don't. It's not in the forefront of our minds here as much. But the idea of how often those stories come across to us, and those are the ones that hit the international stage. Think about the ones that don't even hit the international stage, that are just there in the US. And think about the ones that are outside of North America that don't even get talked about at all. Small ones, in whether it be the UK or Asia or Russia, whatever. Like, this is all happening everywhere. And the idea that we're here now, and we're not trying to undo that part. We're just trying to undo the AI part, because all the other stuff, it's already gotten bad enough. Like, we're talking end of the world stakes here. We're not talking let's fix things before they get bad. They're bad. And I like that we don't need to explain why they're bad. They're bad, and we're just trying to stop them from getting worse.
Yeah. Adriano, you brought up the ending. So I wanted to talk about the ending and how everything wrapped up. Spoiler. I had a really good theory brought to me about the ending, and I wanted to hear y'all thoughts on what you actually thought the ending was, because the longer we got in the movie, the more crazy shit got. The fucking unicorn cat that
giraffe horse
explodes out graffiti and shit. And so basically, right, Ingrid, who ends up being Sam Rockwell's mom, that we find that at the reveal, she puts the clone kid into it just as the AI is turning up, and Sam Rockwell stabbed and all that, and he realizes something is wrong. I gotta go back, because you realize she's still in the AI headset game and all that, so he had to start over. But it's starting back over with like a new lease on. All right, time 118. I actually know who to get, and I know what to do, and I'm not going to ignore my mom over there, so on and so forth. However, somebody brought this point to me. While I think I'm taking everything on face value, I think it's reality. I think he's going back in time. Somebody said, I think he's in a video game. I think he's actually in the AI. When he was a kid, he put that on and he never left. This is the reality the AI made for him. And every time he does that, it's like he respawns back to one certain time. I want y'all thoughts on what the ending actually is. How do you feel about that? Because I thought that was a really interesting conversation. There are a few things here and there that like don't make me go to that point. But how do you feel like that this kind of movie can leave you with a modicum of theories? I hope I said that word right. In terms of what is actually happening here.
I'm honestly trying to digest that right now, because it's like thinking about that. Like, you don't get lots of Sam Rockwell's like backstory at all, besides when they showed the flashback of when he's a kid and he's drawing the picture of the sun because he's never seen a sunrise before. And then he just mentions that he like ran into a group of like rebellions, I guess, more or less, that are trying to save the world. Like, they doesn't really go much into,
They don't.
like he's time traveling. Like, that's never discussed. Like, and it's not really like, not that it needs to be, more or less, but
and you have to take him on face value, or you
Yeah.
have to see him as an unreliable narrator or unreliable vision point of view, because we don't get that backstory. And he does continue to go back to the same spot every time. I will say I'm sticking to his time travel because I have a couple things that like kills that for me, but I really thought it was
I don't think that is a really good like diagnosis of it, that like could be like a theory. I personally, I mean, it could be, but I don't think it is. I took it as that he realized like that they just used AI to try to stop AI, and that could not have been the right way to do it. And that, I don't know, like, I guess maybe I have to I'm curious what you guys think on it.
Yeah.
Because that was my biggest thing, is once it ended, I was like, oh, wait, how does he know that like something isn't right?
Yeah, and like the big thing is like by the time we got the unicorn confetti cat, I was already at suspension of belief that yep, I'm taking it. This is real. This is what's happening. But trying to solve that and make that make sense is what has my mind saying, all right, what are the other theories of that? How did you two take the ending with stuff like that?
I feel like if I cared enough, I could like disprove it's all a dream type of narrative. Like I feel like that's a can of worms that doesn't really result in that being correct. I feel like I can disprove that pretty quickly. But
I think it just doesn't help with the theme of the movie. Yeah. If he was, I mean, it does, but not really. Like,
it's also not implied anywhere that like there's, you know what I mean?
That was my thing. There's nothing that like sets up or pays it off, because I actually think that would have been, if they actually paid that kind of ending off, I would have enjoyed the hell out of that, because I wouldn't have seen it coming anywhere. And like if they set it up and brought it in like it was when he was a kid, he actually did put it on and that was it, I would have enjoyed that. But the ending in general, you mentioned that you were like on the ending. Like, why?
Oh, I took the ending on face value. Like what they told us was like, I don't think they were trying to like make us like feel like but more, okay, I guess a little bit, but more like what they told us was the truth. They're still in an, like, they didn't save the day, they didn't fix anything. They're still in an AI, whatever the hell.
Did you notice like any things that you were like, oh, like my assumption was they just used AI to try to beat AI, and so that's him like sitting there like dying moments, like realizing this isn't right, because all of these people are acting too like happy-go-lucky. When
I was very weirded out that I was like, how is this her son back to being her regular son?
Yeah, when the boyfriend showed up and was like, "Yo, babe, I'm in," it was like, I'm like, she's being fucked with. Like, this isn't real. Like, that's
like when the son showed up
and maybe that's when
the boyfriend.
That's when I was supposed to we were supposed to piece it together, in fairness. But I took it on face value. Like, this is probably the least nihilistic part of the movie. It's just, where was that the rest of it? I took it as, it's like, oh, we screwed up. We didn't do it. Let's try again. And I'm like, that's okay, interesting. To a degree. I don't think it's profound or anything like that, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think the movie is smart enough to like have like that type of like intersection. You know what I mean? I think I do think it's like that ending is more face value than maybe we're giving it credit for, and that's not a bad thing. That's not an insult by any stretch. It's just how I believe it was meant to be interpreted. Was like, okay, I have like, he went back. He was like, all right, this is how we get there. Let's get this group together. Let's try again. That's how I interpreted the ending.
Before I forget, Nick, checking on how you feel about the ending. Shout out to Asim Chowdhury. He was actually in a small role. Asim Chowdhury as Scott was the great "shut the fuck up, Scott" kind of character. I did love him in that as his little role. But Nick, how did you feel about the ending, just in general?
Yeah, I like the ending. I get the theory of the video game VR headset kind of thing, and I don't agree that I would have liked it if that went that way. It's fun to be surprised in a movie, but like there's a really good shock in the movie Serenity that doesn't make it a good movie. It's
Whoa, what is the shots to Serenity? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you saying Serenity is a bad movie, or are you just saying that's not what makes it a good movie?
Wait, what are you talking about? Do you like Serenity?
The movie that came off of the television show with
No.
There's two different ones. Yeah, so I was like, you guys
you're
are
scared
definitely
the shit out of me, dude.
No.
You scared the hell out of me.
Not the Firefly spinoff.
Thank you.
There's a Matthew
McConaughey
McConaughey and Hathaway movie called Serenity with a twist similar to what you just spoke about. That
Got it. Okay, cool.
Ridiculous and stupid and ruins an already bad film. And it's not a twist that it comes out of absolute nowhere. But then when you think about it, you're like, yeah, but why? Like that doesn't feel in line with the rest of the film we've been watching. And that's how I feel the VR being trapped in it. I feel like that kind of goes against everything that this film is done.
You're trying to say though, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea that we, like you said, Paige, we used AI to beat AI. That can't be the way to do it. I think that's an interesting idea of like, shit, this isn't the right way to do this.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try again. And the idea that you're just kind of stuck in this loop trying to figure out how to fix it with, I know Adriano said nihilistic and frankly kind of bleak that maybe there is no way to fix it from this point in time, which is what I kind of left it wondering if from this point he's ever going to be able to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And really, there's a few things like, does he just keep going back in time so he can continue spending time with his mom now that he knows? And that's the loop he's going to put himself into, this time where he can be with his mom. Is he going back to the exact same time? Maybe he's going to earlier so he can spend more time with his mom. Or maybe he's going to earlier because he learned this isn't the point that everything breaks down. I've got to go further. I like that they don't explain any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you
they did
what you want.
Yeah, I mean, they did to a sense like he does come that specific night because that's the night like AI like takes over though, right? Like the 9-year-old boy. So like but yeah, you're right. Like
it's very similar to 11/22/63, which is a great Stephen King
I series. Just binged that show for the first time not that long ago, and yep.
It's great. And the idea is the downfall of our modern day society is linked to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And I think the mindset with this that is kind of interesting is everything is about this boy. Everything is about this boy. Everything is about this boy. I found the right combination. We're going to fix this. Wait, it's not working. When he goes back the next time, maybe he doesn't go back to the same day. Maybe he realizes that equation was wrong. I've got to go back further because the idea I need to figure out what this breaking point is in our society. And after this, he learns this ain't it. It goes back further. Maybe it goes back to a particular school shooting. Maybe it goes back to whatever. But I like the idea that they don't explain what is happening and where he's going and what comes next in that sense.
Or if it even gets like solved.
Yeah.
More or less. Because if you guys remember too, like I know we're gonna wrap up in a minute, like towards the end, like, but like the boy that they're going to find is an AI clone the whole time too. So that was another thing too to think about, to the fact that no AI wasn't created, like took over that night technically because it already had. So that is an intriguing like take that you just like mentioned, Nick, of who knows where the timeline will lead us to if it ever can be solved. But I think having a particular movie like this in at least in this day and age, like right now, does like, at least for me, like after I watched the movie, I was like, shit, I want to turn on my screen time like tracker and see like how much time do I spend on my, it literally made me think like, do I doom scroll like that often? And literally the last couple days I've been ashamed. I will not say how much time I spent on my screen, but I'm like, this movie is accurate that like where society is going with the technology and what AI can create and do.
Yeah, and Adriano said, if you view this film as preachy, maybe that is the final preach at the end. Like, it getting to this point and fixing it isn't how we fix it. And when we're comparing like the idea of watching it like, oh, we could go here. This is a realistic possibility for where this current our world could go. It not being solved in that moment, and the idea that he may have to go further back, how much further back? And then it comes down to, like he said, it's preachy. Maybe it's like, hey, wake up, dummies. If you fix this shit now, we won't end up here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about fixing it at this point when we're too far gone. We're not too far gone yet.
Exactly.
Fix it. And if that's the preachiness of it, and that's whether it's the intended ending, the fact that it's left open as a possible ending, I think is a good way to look at things.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of having a nexus point or a canon event to like try to figure out what was the point, and that's why he's going back. I think that's really cool. Adriano, any other final thoughts before we get out of here, sir?
Nothing that I haven't said. I mean, a bit of a nitpick. It was blatantly obvious who was getting croaked like the second we met them. Like it was like there were some people down like they are just like slasher baits and nothing more. I don't know. This movie, like I totally see the appeal. I'm not angry at it. I watched it going like it's okay. I don't know if you're gonna. I feel like too much was thrown to kind of come out the other side, not exactly with a solid point. I don't think Gore Verbinski has ever been a didactic storyteller by any means, but it's like I don't know. These are real subjects. Like and you clearly want us to engage with it. I feel like even as entertaining as it is, which it absolutely is. It's like to have a filmmaker after a 10-year hiatus, still going to stylistic overload is entertaining as hell. But you want us to engage with these. It's like you got to give us a little more than baseline nihilism. It's kind of like what I really didn't like about The Monkey last year. And while this is a much better movie than The Monkey, I don't know. There's just not enough for me to grab onto. And it's not like I'm not gonna like curse this movie like it's like Hurry Up Tomorrow or The Electric State. You know what I mean? But I'm probably just gonna like I'm just never gonna see it again. Like I'm over it. I'll let the people who like to have fun.
I'm pretty sure I'm watching this a good amount of times. It was good luck for me. I had a hell of a lot of fun, and we knew who was and wasn't going to die, and I didn't give a shit. But let us know what you thought in the comment section below, please. Make sure you check out all the things on bitesizebreakdown.com. The top fives. We're having our Bite Size Awards coming out in less than a month. So go check out that. We are also in the middle of or about to start our Best Picture run of Bigger Bite series. We're going to do a Bigger Bite episode of every single nominee before the Oscars come out. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Paige. Thank you to Adriano. Thank you to Nick. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.